time for me to cover North Asheville. Stay tuned. Hi, this is 𝕊𝕍𝕗 with ℍ𝕊𝕍𝕗 Realty at Realty One Group Pivot here in Asheville, North Carolina. If this is your first time on my channel and you want to know everything about living, breathing, working, going to school, having a baby, want to know where to live in the Asheville area, you need to hit that subscribe button and tap a little bell to get notified every time I make a new video. Thank you all so much for continuing reaching out to me and my team. We appreciate everyone's calls, texts, messages, voicemails, emails. If you need any kind of help relocating to Asheville, if you have questions about the process or locations, feel free to contact me and my team. This is the contact information. We got your back when relocating to Asheville, North Carolina. So you've been trying to wrap your head around the lay of the land, different neighborhoods, different parts of town, what's around Asheville and all that. And as a reminder, we have downtown in the center of Asheville, and then we have four main parts of Asheville: North Asheville, East, West, and South Asheville. And I covered some parts of it in some previous videos, and today I thought I will talk about North Asheville with all its neighborhoods, amenities, what you can get for the money, what to do, what to expect, and all the good stuff. So stay tuned. Some people consider some parts of town and neighborhoods that I'm going to be covering in this video to be in downtown or to belong to downtown. So I just want to clarify, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to refer to all the neighborhoods that are located on the other side of 240, outside of downtown, just north of 240 from downtown, to be North Asheville. So what's interesting about North Asheville, beside the fact when people hear North Asheville, they think expensive. Unlike South Asheville, for example, that's seen this huge explosion and huge growth, and everything is so congested, a lot of traffic, people on top of each other, small roads that that are not built for all this traffic. North Asheville, being, I guess, more historic, more established, still remained the same, basically. I mean, there are some clusters of new construction in pocket neighborhoods that kind of created more, I don't want to say congestion, but more density. But overall, it's not as congested, it's not as crazy, it's not as cramped. One of the first neighborhoods that I want to talk about in North Asheville is Munford. I actually have a video that I made a few years ago. Don't judge me, I'm gonna put a link up here so you can watch it if you want to, but I'm not proud of it. Munford is, if you can see here on the map, it's right there on the left, lays between 240 on the south side of it and I-26 that takes you all the way to Weaverville and so on the western border of it. Munford Avenue is the main artery for Munford. It's a two-lane road with just enough room on both sides to park cars, because not a lot of homes, or maybe none of the homes in Munford, have garages. There's a lot of historic homes, a lot of older homes that were built in early 1900s. In fact, portion of Munford is on the historic registry. So back in the day, they did not build homes with garages. A lot of people have to, if you choose to live in Munford, you have to park your car outside. Luckily, we don't have bad winters, but that's just something I wanted to mention. Munford is a very established neighborhood with lots of mature trees, mature gardens, beautiful homes with these huge wraparound porches. I mean, there are some, like I said, pocket neighborhoods within Munford that have newer homes, new construction homes, but for the most part, Munford is a historic neighborhood with beautiful homes, beautiful gardens, and stuff like that. It's a very local type of community with like-minded people who love and enjoy arts, music, festivals. Munford Park Players is right there, and it's basically an outdoor amphitheater and anybody can come and enjoy a Shakespeare play pretty much all summer long. It's free. You just have to arrive early enough to grab a spot, bring a blanket, bring a picnic or whatever, and enjoy a play. They have some music festivals. People host different bands, different musicians on the porches of their houses. You can walk from one porch to another, from one house to another, and enjoy a band, socialize. It's really cool. It's such a cool experience. I did 2 or 3 5Ks in Munford because Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce is basically located in Munford, right in the beginning of Munford there. And they host their annual 5K, and we all run through Munford. And people who live there, they usually, residents of Munford, they usually sit outside and watch us run. Sometimes they put out sprinklers to keep us cool because it's in summer, so it gets hot. But it's just such a cool community. They have a park, playground, several different local restaurants, coffee shop, just beautiful gardens and beautiful properties. A lot of those properties, not a lot, but several of those properties were turned into bed and breakfast. You can stay at one of the Munford bed and breakfasts next time you visit in Asheville. Check those out. Also, Munford is probably one of the most convenient and accessible in terms of coming to and from downtown. You just have to cross that little bridge. There not a lot of traffic to fight or walk through or go through, so it's easy, and you basically in downtown Asheville. Median sales price in Munford is mid-500s, and that median sales price will not get you a lot. It's going to be a smaller house. Recently, this, I'd say, iconic, a landmark of a house, a keyhole house that went under contract in 3 days, was listed for I think $950,000, went in 3 days or 2 days. You gotta pay premium to be in Munford and in North Asheville in general. So nothing there in the 300s, unfortunately, and if there is, it's gonna be in a very poor shape. Very small yard, that house that needs a lot of work maybe, and renovations and stuff like that. Next, if you start moving more right from Munford, you see this little triangle that's located between Merman Avenue and Broadway, and that's 5 Points neighborhood. 5 Points neighborhood has houses from 1920s and 30s, bungalow style homes, mixed with some newer modern homes. So it's really interesting, eclectic. People who live in 5 Points neighborhood have a luxury of walking to a lot of local restaurants, coffee shops, grocery stores, and there's a cluster of grocery stores and just all kinds of businesses right there on Merman Avenue. Anything from Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Harry's Theater is right there within like less than half a mile, right there on the same block. So people who live there are super lucky. They can walk everywhere. Not outside, are more north, on the northern border of 5 Points. UNC at Asheville is located, and Botanical Gardens. Botanical Gardens is about 10-acre property with hiking trails, creeks where you can swim and splash and play. It's such a neat experience. You don't have to leave town to be able to be in the woods, get away from everything, get away from traffic, from noise, from crowds. I mean, it's not like we live in the big city, but you get the point. It's right there, 10 acres, go explore. I mean, how cool is that? And UNCA is the only liberal arts university in the whole UNC system, and it's located right here in North Asheville. Median sales price in 5 Points is upper 300s, and that's not gonna get you a whole lot at all. Smaller yard, smaller house, maybe 3, 1, 1.5, no garage. You'll be lucky if you have a garage, but it's the location and accessibility to and walkability to all these different amenities and places versus the property. So that's why it's, I guess, more expensive. A lot of people want to be there. So Merman Avenue, that's located or that runs on the kind of eastern border of Five Points, is basically a main artery of the whole North Asheville. You know, if you go from downtown, from Pack Square, and take, well, right there is Broadway, I guess, or yeah, I think it's Broadway, but it's US 25, and you keep going, it's going to take you all the way to North Asheville. In fact, it's going to take you all the way to Woodfin and then Weaverville if you keep going, but you know, we're just going to stay here in North Asheville. Merman Avenue stresses the heck out of me. It's a 4-lane road. Rarely there's a middle lane where allows you to make turns. Otherwise, it's kind of narrow. Lots of traffic, people are going left and right, and cars are trying to get in. It's crazy, but it's busy because there's a lot going on both sides of it. Lots of businesses, lots of stores, shops, restaurants, coffee shops, grocery stores, attorneys' offices, schools. I mean, you name it, they have it. Also, a lot of neighborhoods kind of feed into Merman Avenue, or you can turn left or right and you get into all these different neighborhoods on all sides of it. So, you know, it's busy, but if you keep going, it's gonna take you on the right side. There will be Beaver Dam neighborhood, not to confuse with Beaver Dam west of Asheville. That's completely different. Beaver Dam neighborhood is in North Asheville, and that is basically allows you to get into a countryside. I mean, you're gonna be 5 miles from Asheville, from downtown Asheville, but you will feel like you're in the countryside. So farmhouses, bungalows, cottages, smaller houses, smaller but not necessarily affordable or cheaper. Still, you pay premium just because you're in North Asheville. So on one hand, you have these countryside historic farmhouses in Beaver Dam, but on the other hand, you are super close to all the amenities, super close to all the different restaurants and stores and stuff like that. So that's a pretty unique area. Beaver Lake Bird Sanctuary and Asheville Country Club are a little bit more north of Beaver Dam. If you keep following Merman Avenue, you're gonna get to Beaver Lake on the left, Bird Sanctuary right next to it, Asheville Country Club on the right. So it's a great opportunity for more level, not up and down, kind of hilly walking. A lot of people run around that lake, so it's a great area. Actually, Lakeview Park, which is a community of over 500 homes, surrounds Beaver Lake and the park, and is owned by the residents. But I mean, anybody can go there for a walk. It just kind of might be harder to find some parking there, but it's, you know, it's available. It's super close to downtown Asheville on one hand, and it's actually getting closer to Woodfin and Weaverville on the other side. So if you keep going, it's gonna take you right to downtown Weaverville. I think it probably about 10 minutes away at that point. Country Club of Asheville is right next to Lakeview Park with all its amenities, with fitness center, tennis courts, swimming, golf. So I'm gonna put a link for it in the description so you can check it out if you want to learn more about it. So, you know, a lot of amenities there. The only reason you might want to leave North Asheville if you live there is for either school, work, or maybe to go to a movie theater or go to Mission Hospital, which is right on the other side of downtown, just south of downtown. But I mean, there's even urgent care if you need to go somewhere as an emergency. It's located right in North Asheville. Next section of North Asheville is more east. So we keep going east from left to right, and it runs along Charlotte Street. Charlotte Street has a lot of historic homes that are actually getting ready to be demolished so that some developer can put some mixed-use building. Some protests going on to save those historic homes. I'll put a link in the description if you want to learn more about it. But Charlotte Street, again, has a lot of local businesses that residents of that part of North Asheville are lucky to be able to walk to. If you keep following Charlotte Street, it's gonna take you to Grove Park Inn. Grove Park Inn is a historic inn that was built in 1 year, according to the story. It's a beautiful building. They have a spa, they have restaurants, Sunset Terrace. Highly recommend going there for lunch or for dinner and enjoy sunset. Beautiful setting there. But Grove Park Inn area has even bigger, more expensive homes, super nice, beautiful properties. People who actually live in North Asheville, they mentioned, how North Asheville has, or different parts of North Asheville has different vibes. So Munford, they described as new money, and Grove Park Inn as old money. Regardless, it's, one of the more expensive parts of Asheville. The whole North Asheville has more luxury homes than any other part of Asheville. Median sales price in Grove Park is in the mid 800s. Over the last 6 months, the most expensive home that was sold in Grove Park was right over $2 million, and the most or the cheapest home that was sold in Grove Park was right over $500,000 price range. It's definitely more toned down, nothing crazy. Let's just say it's the opposite of the West Asheville. And if you want an analogy, you might want to live in West Asheville and your parents would live in North Asheville. So West Asheville is crazy and eclectic and funky. North Asheville is anything but funky. It's definitely more mature and more clean, and more expensive. And last but not least, the most, eastern part or neighborhood of North Asheville that I wanted to include in this video is Town Mountain. Town Mountain, as you can see from the name, is located on the side of the mountain. If you drive from West Asheville or, towards East Asheville on 240, you can see in the front this mountain that's covered with houses. Maybe not in summertime because there's a lot of trees with foliage and all that, but in wintertime you can really see all these houses on Town Mountain, in Town Mountain neighborhood. Town Mountain Road, it's a long, windy road. It keeps on going, and there's all these gated neighborhoods and private estates on all sides of Town Mountain Road. It goes all the way up, and then if you keep following it all the way to the end, it's going to take you all the way to the Blue Ridge Parkway on the other side and very close to the Weaverville entrance off of Parkway. But anyways, so it's a long, windy road. It's kind of steep, sloped. Some of the houses are really kind of perched on the side of the mountain. Driveways can be steep and scary, but the views there are amazing. I mean, you can see the whole downtown. Depending on where you're at, you can either see downtown or you can see more of a mountainous areas. But for the most part, Town Mountain properties have great views, and they're also super duper expensive. The median sales price in Town Mountain is, drumroll, in the mid 900s. But really, those properties can be so beautiful and so unique. It is not uncommon to, in fact, it's very common in Town Mountain community or neighborhood or that part of North Asheville to have properties that have 2, 3, or even 4 stories, because they're not on flat surface. So they're on the side of the mountain, and they have a basement and a basement, and then maybe a couple more stories. It's very expensive to build on something like this, and my previous video about building in the mountains will explain why and explain why maybe it's so expensive to be there. But this is basically the last neighborhood that I wanted to cover. If you have any questions about anything else that I might not have covered about North Asheville, maybe some amenities that you're wondering about or anything else, feel free to reach out to me and my team. Contact information for us is right here. Call us, text us, email us. We'll be happy to answer all your questions. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel and hit a little bell to get notified every time I make a new video. Check out some more stuff about Asheville and what it's like to live in Asheville here, and I will see you next time.